got his life story playing behind us here as we welcome Bubba Carpenter on to halftime. My color commentator for Arkansas baseball now for how many years we've been doing this here, Bubba? How many years? This is year 11 for me. How many for you?
7 or 8, something like that, since 2018.
Longest years of your life baseball-wise, aren't they?
Oh, it seems like yesterday, man.
That's right. Material Go would have been pretty popular around the time that you were making your decision to go to Arkansas, right?
Yeah, but I got to say that probably wasn't on my playlist way back then.
Oh, sure
I wasn't
it was.
listening to Material Girl.
You had Def Leppard, Metallica. I'll bet you.
Yeah, I like Alice in Chains, that stuff.
There we go, Them Bones,
country.
Dirt.
Yeah. One of my walkout songs was "Man in the Box" by Alice in Chains. So it got everyone fired up. Actually, I don't know if it got everyone else fired up. It got me fired up.
Yeah, but this is 85. So you probably were walking up in high school in your mind to "Don't Worry, Be Happy" by Bobby McFerrin.
Or Bubba Shot the Jukebox or something. Actually, that didn't come out till way later. Yeah. Thank goodness.
I know the scowl on your face means no, don't be happy. That's not it at all. How excited are you, man?
I got to say, listen, when the phone rang this morning and I'm in the shower and I see FaceTime from Phil Elson, I miss you, buddy, but there's no way in hell I was going to get the phone.
I didn't mean it. It was a finger slip. I was trying to make a phone call, not a FaceTime call. But if there was one moment I do not mind you not picking up a call from me, it's anytime you're in the shower. So well done. Thank you.
Okay, good. I know you missed me, but that's crossing the line.
Well, you get the sound of it all the time at your facility in Tawnytown, the Prospects Academy. We're going to finally get that sound tomorrow at Baum Walker, and that's the sound of not bat hitting ball and all of that, and the sounds of the guys playing, because you could have gone there for the last 3 weeks and watched it at the scrimmages. It's the other sounds too of the fans milling around, the music playing, the organ music, actually hearing the national anthem singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" twice tomorrow too. And the game as well. So we get all baseball sensories are just going to be flowing tomorrow.
I tell you, Phil, I can't wait, buddy. It seems like a long time since we left that booth after the SEMO game. And I was looking at the box scores again this morning, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to get back at it. And I know the players are the same way. They're itching to get back out there on the field.
I know they are, and I'd had a text from Nathan earlier that while I was talking with James Teague, he says, I hope they're better than SEMO. And I know it's tongue-in-cheek kind of stuff, but that's just what happens right now. Even the most dyed-in-the-wool Razorback baseball fan that enjoys the process of the 56-game regular season and even enjoys everything that Hoover's about, all of those fans also are still going to just be waiting to see and believe what they see in June.
Yeah, you know what? I was talking to Matt Jones about it. He was giving me a hard time because I save all the box scores from the last game of the year, 2018 Oregon State. I've got the Ole Miss box score where we got beat 2-0 when DeLucia was on the mound. Kevin Sweeney was the home plate umpire, and the zone was perfect for DeLucia. I got the TCU box score, obviously SEMO last year, but I save them because, it just goes to show you how fragile the game is and how anything can happen. And it goes to show you how special it is that we won the West five out of 6 seasons and all the accomplishments we've had because, anything can happen on a baseball field. So it makes you really appreciate the good times.
Well, but do you know how many of your teammates that you started with at Arkansas, and you played there 4 years, how many guys did finish those 4 years with you?
A bunch of them. We had a lot of guys. Like back then, you came here and you stayed, and then you graduated or you went to pro ball.
What did chemistry mean to a team then? Because it's different now. You have a chance to grow together, and it's different when you know somebody over a 4-year period than you do over just a few months. As well as they might get along, it's different. So and I think Dave even tries to hit on this a little bit. It's difficult to figure out what team chemistry is. And I think we've seen a little bit of that with basketball, where you got a really talented roster that's taken some time to gel. Injuries are a part of it. Chemistry and figuring out the roles are another thing. I just don't think you would have had to worry about working on chemistry when you had all those teammates that part of your team for 3 or 4 years. And now you kind of just have to hope that the personalities just fit together.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's where Dave and the staff does a really good job, Phil. They bring in the right guys, and I say it all the time. They bring in the right guys that still play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. But I think it's getting harder and harder to do it. I mean, we're replacing, what do we have, 20, 25, 27 new guys on the roster this year. And you don't have a whole lot of time to teach them Razorback baseball, but I think they bring in the right guys that buy into the process. I can use example. I played 6-7 years AAA baseball with the Yankees. Steinbrenner wanted to win it in AAA every year, so he would bring in all the free agents and stack our AAA team. But there were times we couldn't win a game. On paper, we should have never lost, but it was me. Everyone was so worried about their stats so they could get back to the big leagues that they didn't play as a team. And then, like the blue collar teams I played on, we won. And it's no secret. I mean, team chemistry in any sport is huge. I think it's even more so in baseball because it's all those little things that you do, whether you move a runner over for your teammate and then he hits a fly ball and gets a stacked fly, or just all those little things you can do. And I guess I shouldn't say that. It's important in every, you pointed out basketball. It's really important, and you're seeing it this year. But Dave and his staff do such a good job of bringing in the right guys that buy into the team first mentality. And it's getting harder and harder to do today.
I still think it's a team that will hit for power, hit it into the gap, hit it over their head, so to speak. And there's so much focus, I think, from the outside on trying to be back at small ball and bunts and stealing bases and hitting runs, and I think they're going to do all of that. But I also feel like that it's not that that's the secondary strategy or that's the strategy that you go to if home runs and hard contact into the gaps doesn't work. But this is still big boy ball. You're going to win games if you hit balls into the gap, if you hit home runs. But you also have to make sure that you don't find prolonged slumps. And that was the issue last year, where you also felt like you had a team that might have been built to be able to play small ball, but they really weren't very good at it.
Well, and they didn't practice it, and that's what they've done a really good job of this year. And, Dave said it all the time, you still got to hit the ball over their head because you're not going to string together a whole bunch of hits in the SEC. Pitching's too good. But I think we've got the team this year, and, I was talking about it this morning. They already kind of look to me like they've already taken on Dave's personality. I mean, you look at some of the guys, Davalon, gritty, hard-nosed, Maxwell, same way, Kojal, Rocco, all those guys are they kind of have that gritty toughness about them that Dave really likes, and they've practiced working on base running. And, a lot of it, Phil, it's not necessarily about stealing the base. It's about putting pressure on the pitcher so he rushes it just a little bit to the plate and leaves the ball up and he gets hammered. It's little things like that. It's more than just laying down a bunt, but it's all those other little things that come with it. And I think we're really going to see it this year. And I tell you, I'm really excited about this team. I've got to watch them play multiple times, and it's going to be a fun team to watch.
Can you give me a couple of hitters that have stood out to you? Now, we've heard so much about Iredale, so someone outside of Iredale that might have stood out to you as you've watched the scrimmages.
Well, I'll tell you, Pappy, Rocco Pappy has hammered some balls. Iredale, obviously, he's hit some balls hard. Pepe's hit some balls really hard. Aloy, he's crushed a few balls. Even Davalon. I mean, you look up and down the lineup. Maxwell, I love his approach. You hear me talk all the time about good hitters take pitches better than bad hitters. Maxwell, I love the way he takes pitches. He's going to be a force at the plate. I mean, there's just so many guys up and down the lineup that, that's going to do damage. And then you got Justin Thomas. He's probably going to hit 9-hole tomorrow. Well, he could hit leadoff. He could hit in a lot of places in a lineup. Souza's really impressed me at the plate. He hit a ball 114 off of McIntyre this past weekend. Went changeup away, and he took it, and then came hard in with a fastball, really right on the black, and he did a great job pulling his hands aside. Hit it 114 down the line. So, I mean, I know you asked for, I think, one or two. I gave you a whole bunch there, but that's how excited I am about it.
Let me focus in on two guys that we know are going to start and are going to hit lower in the lineup, and they're returners. You brought up one of them, and it's Nolan Souza. The other is Ryder Helfrich. And it feels to me there really is a jump that both of these guys can make as batters from last year to this year. And I think Helfrich did in the summertime in the Cape Cod League. And Souza might have the most talent of anybody on this team. They'll be hitting in the bottom of the order, near the bottom of the batting order. And one thing that stood out, I mean, you had some guys last year that could hit. It's just it wasn't a very long lineup in terms of the dangerousness. You get, and for me, Souza and Helfrich's hitting are ifs for this team. If these guys hit anywhere close to what they can, it'll be a really long lineup and tough to get through. The sky already can be the limit for this team, but if both of those guys, if their ifs come in positively, yes, you could go past the sky.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think last year, and I don't want to bash the team last year. I mean, I love some of the guys on the team that we had talent, but it was such a streaky lineup up and down, and we couldn't get the top, the middle, the bottom. We couldn't get it to all work together. But and your point right there, if you can get those guys going, I mean, there's not anyone in this lineup that you can say, oh, okay, this is who we're going to target this guy and get him out. I mean, because there's just not an out. And I love Ryder Helfrich's approach at the plate now. He's changed his stance a little bit. He's kind of cut out some of that extra movement he had last year, toned down the leg kick, not a lot of hand movement. And he looks like a different guy at the plate. So I think he's going to have a big year for us. Not to mention he's probably the best catcher in the country this year. So, I mean, there's just so much to be excited about, Phil. When you talk lineup, and they say pitching and defense wins, and that's true. But I mean, I think we've relied too much on pitching and defense the last few years. And I think this year we've spent more time working on offense, running bases, taking that extra base, and you know the value of 90 feet. Dave talks about it. I talk about it. It's so important, and I think this team's going to do a great job of getting that extra 90 feet. And the days of, like, you hear me in the booth all the time, I get so mad when we hit a leadoff double. The guy never leaves second base. We have a strikeout, a pop-up, and a ground-out inning over. And it's just frustrating. And I don't think you're going to see that this year.
So, by this time tomorrow, we'll be in, my guess would be like the second or the third inning. You got any special, you have to sacrifice any chickens tomorrow before you show up? You got to make sure you have the right pair of underwear and socks on. I mean, what's tomorrow's superstition for opening day?
All I know is I cleaned out my bag that I bring to the field. I got rid of everything that's been in the past. Last year I got rid of the 4-year-old Three Musketeer. I got rid of the Scooby snacks. I got rid of everything, and we're starting fresh this year, Phil. I'm going to bring a new bat.
We're going to fill that bag up by the end of the season, okay?
Oh, yeah. I even have a new bat I'm bringing tomorrow. So we're mixing things up a little bit. So my side's going to look a little different this year. So I hope you tighten up your area a little bit.
I'll do my best for it. I'll get that scorebook to you tomorrow as well. Bubba, we're going to have Bubba on every week throughout the baseball season. And appreciate you coming on, my man. Looking forward to tomorrow and everything that these next few months will bring.
That's right. Thanks for having me on, guys. See you tomorrow. Go Hogs.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.